Hey everyone, it's Lori from Lori J Journals. I'm here pre-recording my 5 at 5. Unfortunately, I am not able to be on live today with the Just Lane Journal group, but I have a great plan for sharing something with you today for my final April 5 at 5. We're wrapping up April and Earth Day month and talking a lot about repurposing and upcycling and reducing trash. So my 5 at 5 for you today is envelopes. Let's talk junk envelopes. Okay. We all get tons of this stuff in the mail. We get business reply, right? We get all kinds of stuff asking us for for our money, donation envelopes, renewing subscriptions, bills, right? Where we're asked to put our checks in the mail and send them back, which I think is funny. I have such a collection of these because I haven't paid a bill via mail in years. I do everything online. So we have tons of these kinds of envelopes. We have big mailing envelopes, things that have come to us from Amazon or documents that are sent to you for whatever reason. We get tons of these envelopes begging us for to sign up for credit cards, right? Give them our money. These are great envelopes. They're bigger, they're sturdy, sometimes colorful. Like this one is, I don't know if you can tell, it's pale pink with little silver dots. Discover's been trying to get me to get a card for years. Still don't have one. And when I get these packets, I open them up and I gut them. Like, what can I keep? I put the paper in my jelly print pile, my scrap pile, and then I take the folios and the envelopes and I put them in my stash to make things. You can also use envelopes from mismatched stationery. Maybe you have colorful envelopes that are pretty that you don't have matching stationery for, or maybe you just love playing with envelopes so much you don't even mind breaking it up from your stationery. Anyway, whatever it is, we're going to talk 5 ways to use these envelopes today, and I've done some pre-construction. I'm going to show you as we go. I tend to like to have my mail opener. I should say it's my husband's mail opener. He loves a mail opener, so I bought it for him. I generally used to just use my fingers, but now that I try to preserve my junk mail for junk journaling, I try to open things a little more gingerly. So I've been using his mail opener. If you don't have one, you can use an X-Acto, a craft knife. Those work too. I just find that this is a little bit more precise. And of course you can use fingers and scissors and everything else. All right, so let's get to it. First, probably the simplest, and something I know we can all do, is take these large envelopes that either have documents in it, or this I think was paper I ordered. It is mulberry paper that I ordered online, came in this. It's a nice sturdy envelope. It has that great crinkly sound. I pretty much do almost all softcover journals now. I love the sound of crinkling paper and packaging, and I cover it with fabric, and that becomes my journals. If you think about it, this is just like those Amazon packaging envelopes that we all use. So first, large envelopes. Try to open them cleanly. If you can't, if you don't, you can always trim them. This can become a very good junk journal cover. Number 1, simple, huh? Okay, number 2, I'll just make one. I haven't found the one that I made. Number 2 is equally as simple. Take the flap of your envelope, put some glue on it. I want to use the one I have here. Nope, that's not the one I have. All right, fumbling around on a video is not a good idea. Okay, take your, this is the one. Okay, so you take the flap, put some glue on it, tuck it inside, like so, glue it down, fold the envelope in half, and boom, you've got a journal page. Put it in your signature, and you've got a pocket on each side. Obviously, you'd want to paint, stamp, collage, embellish it. I'm not going to do any of that on the video today. It'll take too long. But it's a simple way to get 2 cute pockets inside a signature. And the other thing I like about this too is it's fun when a journal signature has a few pages that aren't the same size as everything else, right? We tend to kind of measure out our pages, but then it's fun to throw in some things that aren't the same size, and this is a good way to do that. So numbers 1 and 2, just like that. All right, number 3 is also simple, and it's a great thing to do if you're a no-sew person, right? If you don't have a sewing machine or you prefer not to sew, you can make a cute little pocket journal. And I'm going to show you how I did this one. So you take any number of envelopes you want. In this case, I'm going to do 3. I think I have 3 here. Yep. And the only caveat is they really need to be they should be the same size. Okay? Same size and shape. I put these together. If one is slightly off, it's not really a big deal. But take however many envelopes you want and fold them in half. And it doesn't matter whether they fold flap side out or flap side in. It will change the function, so I'll show you both. So it's just based on what you want to do, but I'll show you both. Okay, and all you're going to do is construct a journal by gluing these side to side. Okay, much the way Linda constructed our collaborative journal by gluing the back of each, right? She took our spreads like this and glued the back of each one together. It's the same thing with these envelopes, okay? And I'll show you one that I finished. And if you put the flap on the outside, you just want to make sure you glue, well, either way you should glue it down, and I'll tell you why. When you glue this down, you don't have to, I'm fumbling on my words here. So if I don't glue these down and then I try to glue them together, this flap is going to create a gap, okay? So the first thing you should do is glue your flaps down, okay? Then you can decide how you want to construct it. Now, if you leave the flap, I like to tuck the flaps on the inside, like you'll see here, okay? This is the one I already made. I glued down the flap. It got a little bit of paint from my, and then I don't have flaps on the inside, okay? I do on the outside, but I would probably put a cover on this, right? Cover it with some pretty paper or fabric. And then what you do with this is you can create side pockets or top pockets. So this one that I did here, I did a side pocket. And all you do is cut off the edge. And by the way, if you want this even smaller, you can just cut off all the edges and have all side pockets. But I actually, on this one, I cut the top edge off and I got top pockets. And the cool thing about this is 2 envelopes back to back, if you recall. So when I'm on this page, I can have a tuck that faces this way. And then when I'm on this page, I can have a tuck that faces this way. Okay? I did this quickly, so it's not all that precise. But what you get is an open spine. It looks a little bit like when you create you sew in an open spine book. And you can do this a couple of ways. If the writing bothers you, you just make sure that you pick envelopes that don't have writing, like this one doesn't. Or you can decorate the envelopes prior to putting them together, or you can cover this whole thing with a cover and then you won't even see any of it. None of it would be exposed. Okay? And the other thing I really like about this is you can do it as a flip book this way, right? You can bind in your signature and flip it up this way. Make your cover the portrait way rather than landscape and flip these up. The only thing you want to keep in mind is you don't want to create side pockets if you're going to flip up because, you know, you would have to clip everything in so it didn't fall out. So you would want to cut your pockets on the top so that when you turn it, they are on the side. Okay, so it becomes a little flip book. This is great with kids who are doing junk journaling. And again, for those of us who are traveling or if you go on vacation and you like to pack some stuff to do, all you need is your glue bottle. You don't have to worry about sewing. So that's a low tech idea. So we have the large envelope as a cover. We have just the pocket page for a signature. We have a mini back-to-back envelope journal. The next one I'm going to show you is, and you probably have done this or maybe have seen, I have one. What did I do with it? Okay, so the next thing is a folio, is a junk journal envelope. Sorry, let me slow my roll a little, you guys. All right, here it is. Okay. It's a folio, and you can do this with as many as you want. I made a 2, it's just a pocket on each side, and then you can put a third one as a flip. I'll show you how I did this right now. It's really simple. All you need is glue. Okay, so you're working with the flaps, and the thing that you want to remember about this is the larger the flap, the easier it is to glue in. So you see these are different. This one's a little bit bigger. I'm taking the big one because it's easier than, okay, and I just broke a rule again. So I'm going to back up a little. I'm going to put this one aside just so that I don't have to go through the motions again. Okay, so here's the really important thing about when you're making the folio. You want to make sure that you're keeping the glue on the part that's going to hit the envelope when you flap over. Okay? You don't want the glue to seal everything closed. You want to be able to use the pocket inside. Okay? So, and actually, as I fumble on my words, in this particular case, you actually do want the glue. You guys, I'm a little off this morning. I'm so sorry to be stumbling over my words. Okay, so the flap of this envelope is going to go inside. This is why it's important that they're all the same size. Oh, wow, the one I worked on earlier was so much easier than this. Okay. And what you want to do is fold it back over to make sure you're getting it all the way inside, because you want this to fold down. Ugh, having some trouble here. What I want is the fold of this envelope to be on the same as the fold on the outside. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that this envelope was all the way inside. Okay. Okay, and this is the part that I was telling you about. If there's extra glue here, then I'm not going, so essentially what I just did is made sure that I can still get into this pocket, right? If I had too much glue here, this pocket would be rendered useless. And I think I did that with this one. Okay, so it's fine, but I want to show you again so that you understand what I mean. This fold is going to come down here when you slip this inside. Okay, so you're slipping this inside and then you're gluing it on the fold. You just want to make sure that there's no glue over here so that you can't open this. That's really what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I have a fold here, and now I'm going to glue this flap down. And now I have a folio. Now, this should not be sealed shut. That was my mistake. So I have one here. And then what I can do is I can take a third one and I can glue it on the outside here so that this folds in and I have a trifold. I'm going to show you the one I made earlier just because it's cleaner. I didn't make those mistakes, right? So I have a pocket here and a pocket here. And then I would take this third one, and this you can glue all the way up to the edge because it's going on the outside and creating a flap. So I'm taking the outside edge, putting it right on the fold, folding this in. Oh, and I took one with a window, which I probably shouldn't have done, but okay. And now I have a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here, and I have a trifold. And you can do a number of things with these. You can put a little piece of Velcro to close it. You can put your homemade button and a brad, or you can even just make a little hole and tie a ribbon and wrap it around, or you can just leave it open. It'll stay, it'll stay closed on its own as long as you don't overstuff it too much. And then this becomes an insert inside your journal. So through my mistakes, I apologize. I'm only human. You finally see that this is idea number 4, which is the trifold. And the last one is making a window envelope to put inside your journal. Okay, so all we're doing is, and I'll show you it relatively quickly, so we're taking one of these larger junk mail envelopes. This one's a little wide. If I made it in this, it may not fit. I would have to go inside a pretty wide journal, but that's okay because you can see this one's about an inch narrower, and that's fine. But let me show you quickly how to do this. The first thing you want to do is make sure that your window is at the bottom. Okay, you want this to be the top of your envelope and the window to be the bottom. And I tell you to be extra careful about that because we're actually going to work from the back. So you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. We're eventually going to glue this flap down, but we're not going to do it right away. The first thing we're going to do is open that top, which in this envelope right now is the side, but we want it to be the top, right? So we said this is going to be the top of our envelope. Eventually, we're going to create a flap. So what I'm also going to do is take my mail opener down the side a little bit because we're going to want to fold down, okay? The next thing is to glue your flap down. And this is the one that I was stumbling over my words earlier. This is the one where you really want to make sure that the glue only goes from here to here. So I don't want any glue that's going to hit this spot and seal up the envelope. So I'm going to keep the glue pretty much where the adhesive of the envelope was or would be, so that it carries over to the other side of the envelope and doesn't get in this crease here. Okay, so now I have my open top, my open side, and I might decide this needs to go down a little bit more, but the next thing I want to do is I want to open up this side. I want to open up this side to match this side. So I'm going to take my nail opener. I'm going to make sure I'm pretty even, which I am. And I'm going to fold down the inside flap, right? This is the outside flap. I'm going to fold down the inside. I'm going to get rid of it. Now you can do two different things. You can actually fold it on the inside and glue it and tuck it in for reinforcement. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess with glue inside my envelope. I want to keep it clean. Okay. So here's what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is create my flap. Okay, I probably could have taken this down even more. The one thing you really want to watch for is when you take down your envelope on the sides to create the flap, you don't want to get too close to this envelope because then when you fold, it's going to mess up the window. Okay, so you create your flap. And then you have a choice of how you want the flap to look. If you like a triangle, you can create a triangle. If you like just the really wide, cut off just a tiny edge of each side. And you can round your corners even if you want. Let me grab my scissors. I'm going to take off a little bit. And if I want to be exact, I can take off that triangle and just flip it and use it to measure the angle on the other side. Okay. I also don't love this edge here. So I'm going to take it off and just clean up the edge. Not necessary, but I just want it to be a cleaner edge. Okay. And then if you're like me and you like rounded corners, you can take the corner of the envelope. I don't know if my corners are deep enough. Yeah, they're not. My corners aren't deep enough, so I can't get it inside the corner. But you could certainly do that if you wanted to. And then what you do is you just create a button closure. You can put a button and a brad and tie a little string, like a bank envelope. Or you can do Velcro, you can do a magnet, you can do whatever you want. But it creates this cute envelope, and then you can paint or collage it. I've done a lot of them where I've collaged over and just left the window blank. And then you either have or create a cute piece of ephemera. This isn't really for this. I just grabbed it because I had it on my desk. And slide it in, and you've got a cute envelope with some ephemera inside that you can put inside your journal. I'll show you the other one that I made earlier because I think it's a better size. By the way, you can make big ones and use them for Happy Mail and all kinds of other things too, even if they're too big for your journal. Okay, so this would be painted or collaged. I would create a closure for it. And then that can go inside my journal. All right, so I was a little stumbly on my words today, sorry. But I'll do a quick recap of the 5 ways to use junk envelopes in your journal. So the first is just taking a large envelope and using it as a journal cover. Super easy, nice sound and texture. And this is a good sturdy envelope that if I put fabric over it would make a nice cover. The second is very simple. Glue down the flap on the inside, fold it in half, and create a page for your signature with pockets. That's number 2. Number 3 was to fold up envelopes that are the same size, glue them or sew them back to back. I used glue to show you that you could have a nice little project to do low tech where you wouldn't need to have a whole lot of stuff with you, and then either make a flip portrait style little journal out of it, or sideways landscape and put pockets side and up. Number 3. Number 4 was to make a folio with 2 or 3 or more. You could do as many as you want. More than 3 would probably get a little bit bulky. And with pockets to put inside of a junk journal. And number 4 is taking these larger package envelope, junk, credit card packages and stuff like that with the large window, break it down a little, glue it the other way, and make an envelope for some cute ephemera or photos or what have you to either put in your journal or to put happy mail. I've been doing that a lot in videos, not McDonald's Happy Meals, Happy Mail, and then you can send it off to somebody with a wish or, a rack or whatever. So those are my 5 ways to use junk envelopes to create things for your journals. Thank you for being with me this month. It was so much fun doing these 5 at 5 for the Just Lane Junk Journal group. I hope Linda will invite me back to do some other things in the future. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend.